Hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about the difference between the Walker Razor and the Howard Leight Impact Sports shooting earmuffs. So if somebody were to ask me, what are the most popular brands of affordable, and I'm going to call these the affordable options of quality shooting ear protection, I'm going to tell them Walkers and Howard Leights. There are other brands out there that are absolutely probably some of the best on the market, but they're also very expensive. This is the affordable option. Now, if you guys follow my channel at all, you know that I've been using the Howard Leights for a very, very long time. I'm super happy with them, super impressed with them. It just so happens that, okay, so this is my girlfriend's pair, by the way. They're in far, far better shape than what mine are. And mine, I have had to glue the ear cups back in. And but a couple years ago, I think, yeah, it's probably been a couple years ago, I actually made a video about this pair because at the time they were like 4 or 5 years old, and I had thought I lost them, but they were actually buried under a pile of crap not literal crap, but buried underneath all kinds of trash and metal and all kinds of stuff in the bed of my truck all summer long. Got rained on, the 100+ degree southern Arizona heat, and they still worked. They still worked and had I do believe at the time they had the original batteries in them. I've since changed the batteries, but now they are starting to get staticky through the auxiliary port, which is why I bought the Walkers. I thought I'd give them a try, had heard good things about them. Now, a couple things. You guys know I don't do a whole lot of all like specification stuff on my channel. There's plenty of Amazon links and websites and other channels that will give you all the little specs and all the stuff that I find to be incredibly boring to your heart's content. These are green. They come in many different types, or many different color schemes, as well as like a what is that called, that hunter's camo, that like real tree type camouflage pattern. Takes two AA or two AAA batteries. The microphones have windscreens on them. The on, off, and volume is here. It rolls vertically forward and back, and then a unprotected auxiliary port, and it's unprotected. I say unprotected because that'll come into play later. As you can see here, the cup is off center because, quite frankly, I accidentally glued it in off center because after several years of using them, they eventually came and snapped out, and I glued it back in. Now, if that cup looked like it was pretty crushed, here's my girlfriend's pair that are in far better condition. They are actually fairly plush cups, pretty comfortable. If they were really uncomfortable, I wouldn't have used them as long as I did. Couple things I've heard people complain about. I've heard people complain that they don't work at all, which has not been my experience. And I've heard people complain about the shininess of the headband. I'm not sure what drones these people are hiding from, that the shininess of the headband matters, but I've heard people complain about how shiny the headband is. Headband has some logoing there and is made of what feels to be a leather with a very small amount of padding on the inside. Now, just for you to see, as if you haven't seen them before, if you've ever visited a shooting channel on YouTube or a gun channel, you've seen these on people's heads, and there's probably a pretty good possibility you've used them yourself. They have an NRR rating of 22, and they decibel down to or beyond 82. That's the safe level of 82 decibels. Now, before I forget, these have a price point of right around 50 bucks. Depends on where you find them. You can get them for 45 to 65, I think I've seen them, but they have a price point of, on Amazon. Right before I made this video, I saw that the last pair that I purchased are now going for $52. So that's those. The Walkers. Again, not near the amount of time experience with them. I've had these for about a month. They did not come with the headband. I bought the headband because I wanted something to hang these off of my belt or kit. The headband, for the shiny people out there that, again, I'm not sure what attack helicopters are hiding from. The headband on these are not shiny. They're more of a cloth material on the top. It does say Walker on it. I'm not taking this off to show you. The color, I do believe Walkers come in a handful of different colors, including green. This is kind of a flat, dark earth color. The ear cups are noticeably thicker. This is her pair. The ear cups are noticeably thicker. Let me see if I can do this somehow as a comparison. If you can tell there, ear cups are noticeably thicker and shaped differently. So here are, you see how this has a bevel, right? And the impacts do not. The impacts are kind of square cut. It's never been a giant deal to me, but I have heard people say things about it. And having shot with these recently, I think there may be a little bit of a difference there. They also taper in a little bit more this way than the Howard Leights do. Now, these have an NRR rating of 23. Basically, in a negligible difference. I don't know. For some people, that may be a big deal. It has uncovered. They just have a screen on here, where the impacts have a windscreen there, and these just have what appear to be a metal screen, which I have noticed the difference of. When I was out with these the other day, it was when I was making my retention shooting video. The reason that is shot in that little basement area, that enclosed area, is because it was so freaking windy out that day that I think it was 25 to 35 mile an hour winds. And I'm not saying that high winds don't affect these, but it affected these far more than what I'm used to. I can tell you that. Now, these come in at a price point of right around 48 bucks. So they're a few dollars cheaper, $4 or $5 cheaper. Again, a negligible difference, which is why I'm kind of comparing these two side by side, because they're about as close to being the same in price and everything else as I've seen. So with the unprotected, what I'm going to call unprotected, or at least no windscreen microphones, it has a dial that runs up and down vertically for your on off, and has what they call a protected auxiliary port. In my experience, that protected auxiliary port is pretty pointless. Again, if you go back to my shooting from retention video, there's 2 or 3 times you can see me doing this, because this came out through shooting, through movement, through walking around, and I could hear it bouncing. But you can't hear it. Maybe on my microphone you can. But I could hear it bouncing off of there, and it drove me just absolutely insane. So, speaking of hearing things, I think the sound quality, generally speaking, is better with the Howard Leights than with the Razors. This has nothing to do with bias. This has everything to do with, to me, everything around me sounds like it's in a bucket or tunnel with these. It almost sounds manufactured, like you're listening to something that hasn't been refined yet. And with these, I find that while they may not be as sensitive to the noises around you, I think the sound quality and clarity is better. Like, I can tell that somebody is standing near me talking, as opposed to 1,000 yards away talking through a tube and it's reverberating the whole time. That, to me, is what these sounds like. But let's take the two and check them. So what I'm going to do is, I hope this works. I'm going to take off my microphone here. I'm sure this is going to be noisy. And I'm going to put it inside of here. I sure hope this works. Just in case you can't hear me with it closed, what I'm going to do is pinch them together just a little bit to simulate the tension it would have on your head because they are spread out, and then I'm going to turn them on. So at 1 foot, here's what they sound like, slightly pinched together. This is the deadening of them. Turning them on. I don't know how this sounds to you, but this is basically facing the microphones. This is away from the microphones. I'm not going to shoot a gun because I'm in my house, but my foot on the floor, snapping, and let's see, something that can So I'm hoping that turned out as well as I think it did, or I'm hoping it did. So again, with the walkers, those were the Howard Lights with the walkers. Set that in there. Again, I'm going to pinch them closed just a little bit to create a better seal, and then turn them on. So this is what they sound like. Again, a foot away when they're not on. This is what they sound like from the rear. What I'm calling the rear. This is from the front. Again, not going to shoot. Small sounds. So that was interesting. I hope it turned out as well as I think it should have. Howard Light impacts, they're right around 50 bucks. Walker Razor, a few dollars less. The shape of these, I've heard people complain about. I personally have a couple complaints about these. I think the protectors, the auxiliary protector is pretty useless, and I don't like the sound of them. They're not uncomfortable. They're both, I think these are probably more comfortable to wear than these are, by the way, but I don't think the sound quality is as good with these as it is with these. They both take AAA batteries, similar price, similar size. When you hold them, I'm not going to get it in ounces. When you hold them, they're similar weights, even with this headband on, so this may be a little bit lighter than these. And I think either pair, depending on what your expectations of are for Ear Pro, I think either pair would service somebody very well. All right, thanks for listening. I will put links to those. I think I can actually link those in the YouTube video because you're not allowed to link to gun parts and stuff like that on YouTube anymore because they'll destroy your channel for you, and you're not allowed to do that. So otherwise, go to rttgunsgear.com, check out patreon.com/rttgunsgear. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you later.